So so the goal of all our endeavors is to maintain to be happy and to maintain that happiness eternally, and to increase our happiness if possible, and necessary. And what is the like what knowledge do we need to maintain that happiness or to increase our happiness to the next level? So that is the endeavor, that is the s- if you any activity, even if it is spiritual activity, even material activity, any activity that we do in this material world is centered around search for happiness. Mm. So so now it comes to see, like, if we question what is real happiness, like s- different people have different definitions about happiness. Some people, for them, happiness is something which gratifies their body or senses, which is always, which is always soothing to the body, which gives pleasure to the senses. So their endeavors will be centered around that that lifestyle. Okay. And some, for them, for some more people, it's not only body, in addition to the body, something which is pleasing to the mind and intellect. See, this thing goes on increasing only. mm. It doesn't mean that a person who is getting pleasure through the mind, he doesn't derive happiness through body and senses. It increases more and more. So and someone else who, for some more people, it is satisfying ego. Means, we all know what ego is. We see that every day in our many life, in many of our dealings. Okay. And for somebody, mm, is ecstasy of soul. Mm. So there are different levels of happiness that anybody seeks into. Mm. So, and this is our general observation in the society. Like, somebody who is after, if somebody is in youth, they will be more of, our child is, they will be more of, gratifying senses, eating chocolates, something like that, and watching movies like that. And somebody who is, intellectual, mm, like giving a nice talk, giving, or excelling whatever in they are doing, that is pleasing to mind and intellect. And somebody who is satisfying ego means, like, somebody who wants to control others. mm. For them, like, it is like, if they have power to control others, that they will be very happy, because it will satisfy their ego. mm. And if you see some spiritualist, some monks or somebody like that, their happiness is centered around satisfying the soul, or they always strive to go deeper and deeper to experience the ecstasy of soul. Okay. So that is our general observation. So and if, what the scriptures are saying about this happiness. So the happiness in this material world, according to Taittiriya Upanishad, which is a part of Krishna Yajurveda, there are different layers, different sheets. Okay. And these are the it is it yeah, that is called panchakosha. mm. So these layers of the body are that seemingly cover the self. Like, they say, like, the soul is there, mm, and the soul is there, and the covering this soul, uh, another layer, another layer, another layer, another layer. This like five coverings of the soul. Okay. So, first covering is Annamaya Kosha, that we all see, the physical body. It is made of food. Okay. This is called Annamaya Kosha. And the second is called Pranamaya Kosha. This is the vital energy or breath sheet. Mm. So this is Pranamaya Kosha. That is the level of mm, prana, the vayu, life airs. Okay. And the next is Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya means the mental level, the mind sheet. Okay. And the next is Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellect sheet. Okay. And then, and further is Anandamaya Kosha. Mm. So we already discussed, right, how different people looks for happiness in different on different levels. So Annamaya Kosha is a gross thing, and Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya. These three, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya, are subtle things. Subtle things means either it is related to mind or intelligence or ego. And Anandamaya kosha is something which is related to the spirit, soul. Okay. So if you analyze each aspect, each kosha, anna means food. Okay. So and it is the life-giving force for everybody. Like it is said that in scriptures, the food is medicine. mm. So the food, when it is consumed in a proper proportion, proper quantity, proper diet, is medicine. But when it's consumed um, disproportionately, means excessive consumption of food, mm, that acts like poison. mm. And it is a basic need of all living entities. And our body is sustained, and our body, that everything is based on this. Our sustenance is based on this food. Okay. And it is visible, dependent, and perishable. Mm. So the pleasure that we derive from the food is very is good. No, it is satisfying, but it cannot go beyond certain level. For suppose if a person likes to eat some sweets, rasgulla or gulab jamun, he can eat at most, no, at one point of time he can eat 5 or 10 at most. Okay. And beyond that he cannot eat. Mm. And also any food activity, any food thing that he takes, like even if you are hungry, you can only eat to certain extent. In this material world. Okay. It is said that in the heavenly planets, they can consume unlimited amount of food to, and they won't have any digestion problem, they don't have any satiation, anything like that. So they keep on eating. So that is the pleasure on that level of Annamaya Kosha. So this is the food that we eat, no, nice food that is palatable. Always we uh, but this has a limitation. So this level of food is experienced by every living entity. Whoever has life force, that will be experienced. Even the bacteria also, that will subside on some kind of food. So that's why we observe, no, if you see any animal, first thing, if you throw anything in front of animal, it will directly go and try to see if it is food. Okay. It will first touch with the tongue, or you put in the mouth and see what it is. Okay. So that is the, and these koshas are also the knowledge acquiring process. Okay. And the infants also, anything that we give to the infants, they immediately put it in their mouth. And the the human beings who are, who actually wants to, who actually basically mostly uh, tries to derive pleasure on this level, they try to eat everything and anything. They eat non-veg, they eat food, they flesh, drinks, liquor, which is many years old, and food stuff, rotten food. Some people eat, no, the dry foods. So anything and everything they consume. And they try to derive as much pleasure as possible on this level. and and the consequence is he will stay most of the time on that level only, making his food consciousness will be uh, he remains as it is. Okay. He will have hard time getting higher pleasures. Next next higher to the happiness is happiness in Annamaya level, is living the a person living on the Annamaya level. He's living on the sensual platform. mm. So he thinks that the goal of life is gratifying the senses. So if you see Annamaya, if you feel that, no, only taking food is a we don't have to think that only taking food is Annamaya level. Means it is gratifying all the senses, not only the tongue, but also different senses have different requirements, right? The eyes wants to see something good, and ear wants to hear something pleasing, and also skin want to touch something nice and soft and, touchy, like that. Different senses have different kinds of foods. mm. So when a living entity lives on that level, uh, he will be entangled more and more. Okay. If somebody is living on the basis of this Annamaya level, he is can is it is on the level of Sudra. Sudra means the basic. means the level 0. Okay, and but we cannot reject this level. Okay, you cannot say but this is the basis of for existence. Okay, and this is required. Every living entity is must actually have something to eat and and uh, for them to stay alive. Okay, and next if we move to next level, pranamaya kosha in this layer. This layer is related to subtle thing, sukshma sharir. Okay, so annamaya kosha gets life and pranamaya enter like when you eat something, it is internalized. It will transform into the body. Okay, and prana is the life of beings, and it is also called as universal life. Okay, and what is the status of person? What is the status of the mindset of the person who is on the pranamaya stage? Is he thinks that I am the life force. Means if you take the annamaya level is the level of infants. Whatever they give, they put in the mouth, they think everything is food. And the level of pranamaya is I am the life force, and they start deriving happiness by interacting with others, because I and me and mine, like that kind of conception. Okay, that is pranamaya level. Means anything that is good for me, that is mine, and everything that is not opposing me, my identity or anything like that, that is means uh, this happiness is derived from emotional platform. Okay, like children and teenagers. Okay, and people are ready to sacrifice their food for other sensual pleasures. Mm. For example, if a uh, child is given a video game, and he'll he'll day long sit there and start playing. So he's identifying himself with the life force, his life force, which is on a sensual platform. Okay, and like experience of social media, social any other social interactions like that. That is the level of pranamaya stage. And the happiness in the pranamaya stage, he makes benefits by dealing with others, and generates wealth for others also, and by social dealings. And he is interested in social welfare of his immediate society, family or a group, etc. Means a person on this pranamaya stage, he will actually he- he's like self-centered. Means he's like anything that is giving happiness for him, he strives for that. mm. And anybody who is related to him, he tries to give the same pleasure to them also. Just like in a family setup or a group of people, just like I want to be happy, and I want to take care of my family only. Me and my family should be happy, like that. So, and that's why if you see the lot of Indian politicians, they amass a lot of wealth. Like, see, even though he has crores and crores of rupees, or millions of dollars, he can only eat few chapatis and little bit of rice, food, and he can only have a little bit of capacity. But why they keep so much of um, money, why they accumulate so much of wealth, is so that he thinks that me and my family members can enjoy. Mm. And my sons has to enjoy, and my grandsons has to enjoy, because his level of thinking is only to his me and mine. So first he will satisfy, he is try to satisfy his senses on the annamaya level, giving nice sense gratification on to all the senses. And then he will come to this level of pranamaya stage, and he will give sense gratification to the persons who are related to him. That is called extended sense gratification. And then example, this is a Vaishya nature. Vaishya nature means they actually do business or do farming, or produce wealth somehow or other. They also support even the industries, uh, even big corporations. They all come under this category. Whoever is working for the wealth generation, who are like, because this person, this everybody in my company should do well, that's why we work very hard not to get profits to the company. So this the in one sense, like not in one sense, they are not bad, but we're just classifying the levels of happiness that we derive in this material world. That is Vaishya nature. That is the nature of the mercantile or a person who is in a wealth generation category. Okay, and then next level is Manomaya Kosha. This is the mind layer, mind sheet. Okay, so this is the mental level. This is the organ of knowledge and mind, and forms this kosha. And in here, the conception of I and mine uh, and of varying conceptions means this is on the mental level. Okay, and as per the scriptures, as per the spiritual things, the bondage or liberation depends on the mind, because see, a person can get relieved by mind, by using his mind, or a person get himself into trouble by with the by not properly uh, using his mental strength. Mm. So so the person on this level is what he thinks. I think, therefore that I am that. Means, because for suppose, for example, this person has some ideology, like his identity depends upon who he thinks he is. mm. For suppose, if he is a uh, politician, or no, uh, no, philanthropist, communist, and all the isms. Okay, these ideologies, they actually identify themselves with the ideology. So the communists have certain ideology, capitalists have certain ideology, even the nationalists also have all the isms, whatever the isms are there. These all people, they have certain ideology, and they are willing to sacrifice anything. They are willing to sacrifice food, they are willing to sacrifice their family, they are willing to sacrifice their community for the pleasure of this ideology. This is called the pleasure on the level of manomaya stage. Mm. So the every living entity who is when the pleasure advances, they actually derive more and more pleasure on the higher levels. That's why they are willing to sacrifice the lower level of happiness to get the higher level. Mm. And then this type of people, even the army of the country, that is also on the level of manomaya stage, because that army thinks, oh, my nation, I have to protect my nation from the opposite country. And opposite country soldier also will think, oh, I have to fight that this soldier so that I can give victory to my country, like that. So this is the happiness derived on that level. Mm. And next is vijnanamaya. The vijnanamaya is the mind. Mm. Basically, manomaya deals with the mind, vijnanamaya deals with the intelligence. Okay, so the living entity's mind and life symptoms are distinguished from life itself. Okay, they look the world with a lot of rationality and reasoning. And all the brahmanas who are on the platform of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam are on the level of vijnanamaya. See, the on the manomaya stage, in this stage, if somebody is doing good, but they can do good for only persons who are agreeing with their ideology. Means they only think that, for suppose, some religions are there. Some religions, what they think, if you belong to this religion, then you are okay, you are perfect. If you doesn't belong to this religion, you are you're outcast, or you should not be treated with respect, like that. So that is the level, that is a pride. They take pride in that, belonging to that aspect. So in the even the communists, they hate capitalists they hate communists. uh, and in the level of patriotism also, one nation, they, as long as you take birth in this nation, in this country, and you belong to this country, then they consider that you are their person, like that. And but the person on the level of vijnanamaya, he is brahmanical in nature, and his thinking is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Means he thinks that everyone is related to God. Everyone should be respected. He works for the welfare of every living entity, irrespective of what kind of what what species they are on, what which nation they belongs to, which ism they belongs to, irrespective of different things. So they are in a higher level. Their happiness is on level of intellect, because they are in a right path of intelligence. They have right intelligence. And the next level to that is Anandamaya stage. In this Anandamaya stage, it is this level is beyond all the conceptions, even like uh, it is even of the even beyond the level of this Vijnanamaya stage, because it is on the level of if you see the Manomaya or Vijnanamaya stage, they are only up to the level of uh, a living being or not, or like but when it comes to Anandamaya stage, the bliss is on the level of Atman, the spirit. Okay, and this is the highest uh, pleasure that one can experience in this material world. And that's why if you see the sages, if you see the saintly people, they actually go away from this entire material world. They, even though they can do good in this world and be in this world nicely, but they actually they go to forests, or they sit in some caves where want to they don't want to disturb by anybody, and they focus on the self. mm. So that is, they are on the level of the sadhakas, the persons who is striving, who is struggling to, or who wants to excel in spirituality. They are also on the level of Anandamaya stage. So that, so it is said that happiness in Anandamaya stage is the pleasure experienced on the level of soul and experienced by practicing sadhakas. And it is said that as per the uh, this Kosha's theory, one has to reach Anandamaya, to reach to reach this level of Anandamaya stage, one has to reject all the lower level of happinesses. So that is the highest pleasure that you can experience when you are in this material world. But what is the significance of this Pancha Koshas now for us, our practical application? So as per this theory, it is said that Atman can be identified only by negation of Anatman. Means Atman is the source of pleasure. That's what they propose, and they say that only uh, you can reach that level of Annamaya stage by negating what is Anatman. Means by rejecting all the lower level of all the lower level koshas. Means you should reject, you should actually uh, you should not you should not be attached to the level of the type of food that you eat. You should not be attached to your home. You should not be attached to your nation. You should not be attached to your even to this world also. That's what they propose, but it is practically not possible. But one more alternative is to spiritualize all the panchakoshas. Means you you be where you are. You don't have to give up anything, but you just spiritualize every of your uh, aspects, whatever you do. Okay, so how can you do that? Mm. So that, as per Bhagavad Gita says, how can you spiritualize? By practicing the karma yoga. Okay, so karma yoga is the process of spiritualizing your activity. So in the Annamaya stage, you eat whatever you want, you like, but basically the vegetarian food, which doesn't involve a lot of bad karma, you eat that in the form of prasad. mm, and that your food is spiritualized. And by in the Pranamaya stage, where you have, like, you will be associated with your family, right? So associate with uh, like-minded devotees, the persons who are in the process of bhakti, something like that. And loving exchange, you give gifts to them and receive gifts from them. You invite them, you have a nice loving relationship with them, and also do kirtan with them, like that. So that is, you develop a nice positive circle. And next to that is Manomaya stage, following the rules and regulations. mm, happiness, this is the happiness on the mental platform. Okay, following the rules and regulations, there will be certain rules and regulations that helps us to progress in our spiritual life. By following the rules and regulations, that pleasure, uh, uh, pleasure uh, need on the manomaya stage will be fulfilled, and Jnanamaya stage can be fulfilled by studying different scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are many authorized scriptures are there. That they, when we read all the scriptures, we derive great pleasure on like how we can. And then the next level is Vijnanamaya stage. When you read and when you are in the association of devotees, when you listen to them and when you discuss with them, you develop certain kind of intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and by preaching that knowledge and by helping others and uh, by by sharing the shastric knowledge, you'll get you can we can derive pleasure on the level of Vijnanamaya stage. And then finally after on the Annamaya level, by chanting the holy name of Krishna and by anything that connects us to Krishna, which is on the level of Anandamaya stage, that gives us the highest pleasure. So these are the this is the way how we you can easily spiritualize, and that's why the process of the bhakti is said to be susukam kartum avayam, means it is easy to perform and it is the results are guaranteed. So as for Bhagavad Gita, like right now these are the happinesses. Like if you see this previous slides, these different stages of happiness that we derive from this Annamaya, Pranamaya. These stages are different happinesses that we derive. All these stages, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya stages. For that, we have to have an endeavor. Okay, and according to Bhagavad Gita, mm, it says for any endeavor to get fruitified, means for any endeavor to be to give the results, there are different factors that contributes to us. It says the place of action, which is the body, the performer means the soul, and the various senses. Like different persons have different sensual abilities and different kinds of endeavors, mm, and different kinds of endeavors, and ultimately the super soul. So among all these factors, if you analyze how many of them are under our control. mm, okay, the body, the place of action is okay. Body is given by the nature itself. We cannot demand I want this kind of body, I want that kind of body, because body is already given to us. mm. And the performer means the jiva, we ourselves are the performers, and various types of senses. We already have certain set of senses, and our senses have limited abilities also. Certain abilities, okay, we already have that, we cannot change anything, and many kinds of endeavors. So only this we have in our hand. This endeavor, the ability to do endeavor, is only thing that we have in our hands. Okay, and ultimately the super soul. So the super soul is how can we how can we actually take this factor of super soul into consideration. So if the if like for example, if you want to achieve the results, the positive results in any of the field, any of our endeavors, be it be spirituality, be it be materialistic thing, be it be occupation, studies, or bringing up the family, in all our endeavors, all these factors contribute. Mm. So but the last factor, the super soul, if the super soul is satisfied, then all our endeavors will automatically get fructified, and this will give the positive results. So that also we can see how can we uh, satisfy the super soul or as Paramatma. So we already discussed the different types of pleasures that we can get in this material world. Mm. And is that the only happiness that we can achieve? Is there anything beyond that? So if we analyze this world, okay, mm, how many? you just question yourself, how do you look this world at around you? Is it a wonderful place where you live, and where you it is a place for happy living, and it is a always joyful to you, or is it a miserable place? Different people have different opinions. Okay, here some people say yes it is, and 50% good and 50% bad, sometimes says that. mm. So if we analyze more objectively, they say that some of them are born in good families and opulence and good upbringing. They say that everything is good, but except this one thing. There are many, but there are many people who are born in different families or different circumstances. They think that everything is good, but if I only have that other some more of some object of uh, that of my requirement, I will be more happy. Mm. So, but many people are born with uh, an opulent family, good upbringing, nicely. But some people are born blind and can never see light. And some people can never eat. Some people don't have enough to eat. Also, some people are born with the disabilities and live with that disability with for the rest of their life. Mm. And no one desires a miserable condition, but no much against their wish, many of them are put in the miserable condition. No one desires any unhappy situation, but most of the time they cannot avoid, they cannot do anything about it. And it, according to scriptures, birth itself is a miserable experience. We have to sit in the womb for 9 months, and most fortunate thing is we totally forget about the pain that we have undergone through the birth. But the scripture, the sages that we who knows everything, who remembers everything, they said that birth is one of the most miserable condition, because we as a living entity has to sit in the womb of mother for 9 months like that. So they say that birth is a miserable experience, and nobody wants to die. But yet in front of us, time separates us from our near and dear ones. Okay, and we are left uh, with broken hearted. Okay, and above all we die leaving behind all we have painstakingly acquired. We struggle so much to uh, cr- earn create wealth and properties, degrees, name, fame, family, and everything. We have to leave everything at the time of death and go off from here. Mm. And we want to remain young always, young and energetic, but much to of our disappointment, we grow old. Very soon we start growing old, and our bodies uh, become weak and frail. Okay, and we are no longer beautiful. So these are some examples about Ronald Reagan. Like no, and most of us knows, right? He's one of the successful presidents of America. Okay, but uh, he was uh, he was in the on he was detected with Alzheimer disease, and he forgot everything whatever he has achieved in his life. He even forgot that he is the president of America. So that is the situation. Like I'm just mentioning the to say. Okay, and this already discussed. And although we strive to although this mm, uh, although we are very much advanced in the medical sciences, but still we cannot avoid the disease. We don't have our we have very much so much limitations on this medical field also. We can only cure certain diseases to a certain extent. And still our plans of good health, happiness, and are uh, throughout with newer and newer diseases. Like for example, we got this corona thing, right, which is not in the record, like not planned for. No, nobody has the medicine for that. Okay, and when we are living, when we are healthy and when we are strong, we claim that I am the greatest. And this is like claimed by Muhammad Ali. Okay, when he was very powerful and very he was winning, he was saying that I am the greatest. But when he after a few years he got Parkinson's disease, and then he realized that he can't even lift a cup of coffee. So that is also our observation. Previously that the pleasure that we derive on different levels is our observation. Now this is also we observe in our day-to-day life around us. So what does Krishna instructs about these factors in Bhagavad Gita? Hmm? What, because Bhagavad Gita is a greatly revered scriptures, and lot of thinkers, lot of philosophers, they actually say that the Bhagavad Gita is a great book, and many great personalities, they also say that there is nothing more to read, there is nothing more to achieve more than what Bhagavad Gita can give. So let us see what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Vartanam. Means he says, one who can perceive birth, disease, old age, birth, death, old age, and disease as a real problem is in knowledge. Means if you think that if this material world is for enjoyment, this material world is a good place to live, means you don't have enough of knowledge of this world. Because see, something can be known, like if you take any machine or any building or anything, whoever has made that, whoever is the owner of that building, or whoever has built it, will have the good knowledge of what it is made of, what we can expect from that machine, or from that building, or from that object. So Krishna is the God is the creator, God is the maintainer, and God is the destroyer of this material world. So he himself, he is saying that one who can see the birth, disease, old age, and death as the real problems of life, is in knowledge. We come across many problems in our life. We come across relationship problems. We come across failures in our life, business failures in our relationships, and also failures in our academics or professions, or setbacks, business losses. So these are all additional problems. But he who sees birth, disease, old age, and death as real problems, he is in knowledge, because these are common to everybody, irrespective he is wealthy, he is poor, he is knowledge, he is in a good, he took birth in a good family, or he took birth in a poor family. He's living in this country, he's living in America, he's living in Africa. Irrespective of whoever it is, uh, these are the four common problems. So that's why Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, those who can perceive birth, disease, old age, and death as the real problems of life is in knowledge. So, okay, what are we going to get by perceiving these as the real problems of life? We have many problems, and we are just adding four more problems. What is the use of this analysis? But Krishna also gives uh, the solutions also. Let us more analyze about these factors. What Krishna says. Okay, we are constantly tormented with. Uh, three more things. Adhyatmika kleshas means, miseries due to our body and mind. And adi bhautika kleshas are miseries caused by other living entities, like mosquitoes and terrorists, like that. And next is miseries caused by due to natural calamities. This is called adi devika klesha. So these seven are the common problems for everybody. So the four more, the first, the whatever the problems that we discussed in the first four, that are common for everybody, and this may or may not come in our life based on our karma. Just give me 1 minute. I have something to do. Sorry, I have to. So these are the miseries caused by the natural disturbances. Okay, and above that, Krishna points out, Krishna is the creator, Krishna is the maintainer of this world, and Krishna is the destroyer of this world. So Krishna himself is saying what is the nature of this world? It is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. You may say, okay, my life is perfect. I don't had any sufferings from this, from any problems of anybody. I was totally blissful from right from the my birth. But but this pleasurable situation, this happiness is only temporary, ashashvatam. It is, if you have miseries, yeah, it is a miserable condition. If you don't have any miseries at all, if your life is going so perfectly, it is ashashvatam, it is temporary. It is going to go in few years, because our lifespan is at max is 100 years, right? After, like now very few people are living 100 years these days. Okay, so he says the nature of this world is dukkhalayam and ashashvatam. So this world is miserable and temporary. That we have to understand first. Means like it doesn't mean that it's we are promoting some negativity or something like that. First of all, what if you know the problems that we are facing, then we can find a solution. If you we can look for solution. But if you think that I'm happy and I don't have any problem, I don't need any additional knowledge, uh, just like a person who is deceased, when he knows that he has a disease, then only he will act on it. Mm. Otherwise he will think that, okay, my health is good, my I'm happy and doing that. But suddenly one day his disease show up and he cannot take any action on that, and he just perishes. It doesn't mean that this the spiritual knowledge, whatever we are discussing, is going to give some temporary results, but it will definitely give the temporary allurement from the miseries, but also it will give permanent solution for the problems of our life. So why we have to believe on all these things? Nobody sees that there is uh, we have so many problems in this life. Okay, and every problem has solution. Mm. Like for suppose every hankering that we have has a allurement, because if you become hungry, then there is a food. When you take food, then your hunger is mitigated. When you feel thirsty, your thirst is gone when you drink water. And when you feel cold, you have heaters. When you feel hot, you have coolers. So every problem in this world can be addressed. Mm. But can we address these problems of sufferings of no, which is due to birth, due to old age, due to disease, and due to death? uh, that is given in the scriptures as well. Okay, that is given in Bhagavad Gita as well. Okay, everybody we actually is there a perfect place? Is there a place where we can live eternally? Mm. Is there like a place where there is no death, there is no old age, there is no disease, and no pain at all? Mm. And only happiness? Is there a place where there is only happiness? And is there a place everything is auspicious? Nothing can go wrong in that place? Is there a place like that? Mm. And like if you see, most of the time our the sufferings that we experience in this world are due to a lack of knowledge also, lack of knowledge and bliss. Okay, so is there a place where we can be fully of knowledge, full of knowledge? Okay, so that is also given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Mamupete punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanam samsiddhim paramam gatim. He says, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. And he also says, yet there is another unmanifested nature which is eternal, transcendental, transcendental to this manifest and unmanifested world, and it is supreme and never annihilated. When all this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. This is Bhagavad Gita verse number 8.20. So what is talking about is spiritual world is there, where is which is our eternal home, because as per the scriptures we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and we are blissful. The nature of the spirit, the nature of the soul is sat chit ananda. Sat means it is eternal, it can never be it can never die. Chit means it is full of knowledge, and ananda means its nature is pleasure, is always pleasurable. Mm. So it is blissful, it is full, it is eternal, and it is free from knowledge. This is the nature of the spiritual world also. So the spiritual world, everything in the spiritual world also is always blissful, eternal, free from all the anxieties in the spiritual world. So our nature, the Atma Tattva, the nature of our soul is full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And the nature of the spiritual world, everything in the spiritual world is also full of knowledge, full of bliss, and full of and it is eternal. So the spirit soul living in this material world is an incompatible situation. Even though we are a spirit soul, we are trying to derive pleasure through the matter. Mm. So that's why when we saw that, right, different levels of koshas, we derive highest pleasure on the level of the soul. So and he also sees certain more other definitions, other details about the spiritual world. Okay. So what is to be done? Okay, because Krishna says to Arjuna that because you are my dear friend, I am speaking this to you. And we'll discuss about all these things. Okay, so it doesn't mean that, like, it doesn't mean whatever we are doing is wrong, and whatever, like, we are doing, we have to give up and finally only become a devotee of Krishna and go back to spiritual world. Yes, we can. The yogis do that. The great saintly people, they do that. But you don't have to give up anything that we are into right now. We can be in the family where we are right now, and we can do the job. We can continue with our life. But at the same time, the simple process that Krishna describes is take up the process of bhakti. Like, as we discussed previously, bhakti process is very simple and and the results are promising. Means the a devotee never perishes. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Mm. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, because you are my dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Mm. So we just have to change the consciousness with which we do things in this material world. Mm. So and we have to dovetail all our activities in Krishna's service, and also we have to take the process of bhakti. That is the uh, how do you take the process of bhakti? Manmana mad bhakto means always think of me and become my devotee and worship me and offers your obeisance unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my dear friend. This is the instruction given to Arjuna by Krishna himself. So when Krishna gives instruction to Arjuna, he also giving instruction to us all. Mm. Taking Arjuna as a medium, he actually gave that message to everybody who is living in this material world. And the process of bhakti, as we discussed previously, you don't have to give up anything. You just have to dovetail whatever we have, as we previously discussed, right? How we in the like how in different levels we can engage our bhakti. Like the food we eat, we just have to accept the prasadam, and the association that we have to take, we were taking, we have the tendency to take association. Just you take the association of persons who are spiritually motivated. mm, and and also we have the we have the tendency to read many things. We have the tendency to know to explore. That's why we read newspapers, we read novels, and we watch movies. So watch something which is related to Krishna, watch related to something, read something related to Krishna, or know something about from our scriptures. Mm. And also we have the tendency to speak to others. We speak politics, we speak the something that are going on with our different families. So we have the tendency to speak to others. But so instead of that, you speak about Krishna, you preach about Krishna. That way, that you can engage all of your activities in Krishna's service. That is the best, that is the easiest and the surest way of achieving the perfection of human form of life. So that is the end of today's session. If you have any questions or any discussion that we can uh, take, we have time here. I hope you're able to follow, right?
Yes. Even
Any questions or any points of discussion, anything that we can discuss about?
no questions.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Anything that you want to add?
No, I just learned these five kosha first time. So
Okay.
yeah, so I should read more about it, or we are going to
No need
discuss.
actually.
Okay,
I have presented all these questions because
right,
we actually derive happiness on different levels, and we always try to uh, derive pleasure through food, derive pleasure through our family and association, derive pleasure through our mind, or derive pleasure on the level of ego. These are all different levels of pleasure that we derive. So but these pleasures are temporary and perishable. But the pleasure on the level of spirit, on the Anandamaya Kosha, or level of when pleasure you derive through the process of bhakti, it is eternal, and it will also lead to the highest perfection of human form of life, which is going back to Godhead also. And if you don't believe that, okay, I don't believe that there is no different world, I believe only this material world, then and this, then still you still have a lot of positive association of devotees, and you still have something substantial. Because if you observe any pleasure that we derive from, no, some people drink a lot of liquor and smoke, or anything, any pleasure, that is only that it only causes anxiety in the next time. Because a person who smokes, he has a tendency to smoke more and more. A person who drinks, he has a tendency to drink more and more, and it will spoil his health, it will spoil his finances, it will spoil his um, family and relation also. But if you take these positive aspects into our life, if you take these positive habits, if you cultivate these positive habits, it will replace the negative habits. We 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 have the ability to like conditioning. What is the conditioning? Because I did it 10 times, I also wanted to do 11th time. So that conditioning can be checked by cultivating new positive habits, like that. So that's why I presented all these koshas nicely, so that we wanted it is in our nature to seek for pleasure. mm. So everybody is looking for pleasure only, even the spiritualists, even saints, or even the great leaders of nation, or even the businessmen, even simple householders, even children also, even the animals also, they look for pleasure. So that pleasure can be derived and more meaningful and more constructive when we derive that pleasure in the spiritual circle. That is, and that will also advance us more and more. That's what I wanted to give this knowledge about.
right.
Who is the other person on this phone number? Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll end it here. Grantra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you for joining, and if you have any comments or if you have anything that we can improve, you can let us know.